And the big update coming in from London. Keir Starmer has now taken over officially as the British Prime Minister. He is at his new residence, 10 Downing Street. Starmer was seen going ahead and also addressing the media soon after he made his way there to 10 Downing Street amid huge crowds who gathered there to cheer him on. Their mandate is what's brought him now to 10 Downing Street. Let's play out for you what Sir Keir Starmer had to say, where he's spoken about what really the Labour Party's work is going to look like for the United Kingdom.
We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second. Changing a country is not like flicking a switch. The world is now a more volatile place. This will take a while. But have no doubt that the work of change begins immediately. Have no doubt that we will rebuild Britain with wealth created in every community, our NHS back on its feet facing the future, secure borders, safer streets, everyone treated with dignity and respect at work, the opportunity of clean British power, cutting your energy bills for good.
Let's take this across now to our Foreign Affairs Editor, Geeta Mohan, who's joining us live from London. Geeta, you witnessed, of course, the historic election playing out in the United Kingdom. Sir Keir Starmer has now made his way to 10 Downing Street, officially now taking over the Prime Minister's residence. Might not have happened in India, but 400 par in UK for the Labour Party.
Well, he has taken over. He is the new Prime Minister. Right behind me is 10 Downing Street, and there are still people around here, Akshita, who are waiting to get a glimpse of him. They're waiting for a very long time to see the new Prime Minister come in. Most of them, Labour supporters, waited a very long time. In fact, they waited 14 years. But they waited a very long time over here to see the cavalcade really go into 10 Downing Street. It is a significant day for not just the Labour government, for the people of the United Kingdom that have voted in change. And that change is being seen not just in the shift from one party to the other, but in how the Labour approaches all the problems that the country faces today. Rishi Sunak has been criticised on various counts, whether it's immigration, taxes, the healthcare system, the failing healthcare system. Keir Starmer over here is going to look at all those challenges, maybe from a different approach. So a lot of people over here in celebratory mood, and they have been waiting outside 10 Downing just to get a glimpse and just to get a word of what's really going to happen. So all of them over here celebrating this very bit, Anshita.
You know, it's a mandate for change, very clearly. And Geeta, I request you to stay on with me because we're also going to talk about what this means for India. But just to sum up what we've seen in the last few hours, why do we refer to this as a historic election? It's a vote for change, but a vote also that's translated to a vote for the Labour Party and their reforms, all that they've promised. The new Prime Minister is the man you see on your screens there with his wife, Sir Keir Starmer. He's been appointed by King Charles to lead the country for the next 5 years after a sweeping 400-plus mandate for him. He visited Buckingham Palace, and those are the numbers on your screens there. Almost completely done. Out of the 650 seats, 648 are out, 412 going for the Labour Party. And that itself tells you what the election story has been in the UK. There's been a lot of talk about many parts of the Europe going the way of the right. In the UK, it's gone the way of the left.
The 4th of July night, as the counting began, stretching to 5th July morning, it turned out to be an astonishing result. Beyond the stupendous scale of Labour's overall victory, it was a night of shock results, big swings and unexpected upsets. The incumbent UK Prime Minister won from the Richmond constituency but lost his job at 10 Downing Street.
To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all.
Sir Keir Starmer moves on from being the leader of opposition to the top job in the House of Commons with a stunning victory of scoring 400-plus seats.
We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. country first, party second.
The man whom Starmer replaced in 2020 as the leader of Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, won convincingly fighting as an independent as his former party barred him. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves has won the Leeds West and Pudsey constituency.
We have campaigned as we mean to go on, as a government of unity, not of division, a government of wealth creation and a government in the national interest. Country first, party second. That is our promise to Britain. That is my promise to the people of Leeds West and Pudsey. We will not let you down. I will not let you down. And I can't wait to get started.
The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Ed Davey, after an action-packed campaign where he fell into a lake, careered down a water slide and did a bungee jump in antics, retained his outer London constituency of Kingston and Surbiton. His party has achieved its best ever result at 70+ seats.
Tonight, the Liberal Democrats are on for our best result for over a century. And I'm really proud that our party has fought so positively during this campaign, particularly putting the reforming and fixing the crisis in our health and care system right at the forefront. And the many Liberal Democrat MPs who are being elected tonight are going to continue to fight to sort out health and care so the people of our great country can get the health and care they deserve.
Green Party co-leader Adrian Ramsay forced into Conservative bastion in Suffolk, Norfolk rural area. In fact, the Greens had a spectacularly good night by the standards of a minor party. It has for long struggled to break through the electoral system in previous elections. It has quadrupled its number of Commons seats to 4. Conservatives had the worst night. Not only were their numbers reduced, big shots like the former Prime Minister Liz Truss, Defence Minister Grant Shapps have lost. Scottish National Party has been reduced to single digit from its previous tally of 46 in 2019.
Yeah, I feel better today than I did yesterday, I think. I feel pretty tired. I was up all night watching it. So, yeah, excited for something needs to happen, I think. I think the country needs it. It's not the same, you know, I was a child in '97. I don't think it's quite that kind of spirit. But I'm hopeful that the new government will come in with some plans. I think if they move quickly, then we can kind of we might be able to find some hope, even though it doesn't feel like they've managed to find it in the campaign so much.
I think the future will be better. I think the future will be more better now. So since the Labour Party is in power now, I think the country will be more better in terms of job, in terms of safety. So there will be more protection in the country and more job for the country.
People need the change. Now we have a change, but what that change will bring is waiting to see, because there's no money. Without the money, no growth. Without the growth, you cannot make public services work properly.
British newspapers have hailed the Labour landslide, but Sir Keir Starmer, as the new Prime Minister, has a tough task to deliver to satisfy the anti-establishment vote that has catapulted his party to power.
All right, let's get to the question I know all of you are asking. What does really a Keir Starmer government mean for India, mean for the Indian community, the Indian diaspora in the United Kingdom? Let's just draw that comparison up for you. Rishi Sunak versus a Keir Starmer on ties with India. Of course, we've all seen those images of Rishi Sunak, someone who's so deeply rooted in Indian culture and tradition, go beyond just bilateral ties and focus on cultural relations as well. But Keir Starmer also, unlike his presidency in the Labour Party, has made it clear that they are focused very much on enhancing ties with India. A new strategic partnership is what he's spoken about, while also interacting with the Indian diaspora. What's also going to be extremely important to watch out for is the free trade agreement which could be signed between India and UK as a result of freeing up some of the hassles that we've seen really between India and UK on issues like student visas. Now, on immigration. Now, there was a legal cap to curb immigration that was brought in by the Sunak government. Keir Starmer also expected to continue that, says they will crack down on illegal immigration. But remember that this is a left-leaning party, so could be a little more liberal than the Sunak government. Also, very importantly, what was controversial with regards to the Sunak government was the Rwanda project, which transported illegal immigrants out of the UK to Rwanda. This is something that will be shelved immediately by, in fact, Starmer's government. Besides that, there's also the very important issue of whether this means good news for, in fact, Indians who are looking to immigrate to the UK. Yes, because Starmer, in all likelihood, will focus on skill-based immigration, which is good news for India. And remember, on the other hand, Rishi Sunak was largely willing to give in to pressure and go ahead and actually crack down on student visas. What about work permits? Another thing that affects the Indian diaspora. A legal cap on work and family visas was something that was in place. As far as Keir Starmer concerned, a ban on employers who are illegally hiring workers from abroad is something that he's promised. Illegally is the key word here. But besides that, will it affect the Indian diaspora that's currently working in the UK? Unlikely, because Starmer has worked hard on ensuring that he sends out that message that he's not against immigration. And those are pictures on your screens right now of Sir Keir Starmer meeting with King Charles. It was at this moment that he was officially appointed as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And this is, of course, because of the fact that you had that huge mandate that came in for him for the Labour Party. So what exactly does this landslide victory mean for India? I broke it down for you in a few points. Let's break it down and decode it further for you in our next report.
We did it! You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
One of the areas where change is expected is immigration. The outgoing government, led by Rishi Sunak, shocked UK by transporting illegal immigrants out of Rwanda, even as boatloads of immigrants kept crossing the English Channel into England. The new government is expected to reset the policy and a huge boost for aspirants from India focused on skill-based immigration. This is what Keir Starmer had said about immigration last year at the Indian Global Forum.
Well, we need to get the skills balance right, and at the moment, I just don't think we've got a skills strategy to speak of. So we need the skills strategy. We need to therefore look at what skills we do have, what skills we do need. And at the moment, there's just a complete mismatch out there, I think.
The new Labour government in the UK, which returns after sitting in opposition benches for 14 years, is also expected to fast forward the free trade agreement with India. The FTA has been on the negotiating table for 30 months and despite 14 rounds of negotiations, is no closer to being signed. The new party in its manifesto has said that it would seek a new strategic partnership with India, including a free trade agreement as well as deepening cooperation in areas like security, education, technology and climate change.
A relationship based on our shared values of democracy and aspiration, that will seek a free trade agreement. We share that ambition, but also a new strategic partnership for global security, climate security, economic security. This is the essential truth of the world we live in.
Experts, however, believe that there could be some minor changes to the FTA based on the new government's priorities. However, UK remains keen on a trade deal with India, especially after Brexit. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
All right, let's take this back across to Geeta Mohan joining us live from London. Geeta, London, the United Kingdom, basking in all of the celebration right now of this big change in guard. But what really does it mean for India is something everyone's talking about. You've actively been speaking to and engaging with the Indian diaspora there. What do they make of this mandate? What do they make of this election result?
Well, the Indian diaspora over here, quite frankly, Akshita, quite a few of them were actually rooting for Rishi Sunak, maybe because of the emotional connect, more to do with that than to do with the fact that it's the Conservatives. But they knew that there's a Labour wave. They knew that they have to engage the Labour government as well. And many of them are part of the Labour government and the Labour Party, not the government yet, but the Labour Party. So for the Indian community, it is going to be a continuum in terms of how they are engaged by governments over here. And it is because for these governments, Indian community is quite important and significant. It's no longer a labor class, working class only kind of a group. The Indian community represents some of the most wealthy, affluent and influential people here in British politics and British society. You will be seeing representation of the Indian community even in government. So, and Keir Starmer himself, during his campaigning, visited temples, went and met the Indian community. He attached as much importance to the Indian community and the Indian diaspora as Rishi Sunak did. So it is a very significant and an important diaspora here, and the Indian origin Brits over here. So we will have to see how the government is going to look at including them, becoming more inclusive in bringing them in. But that's something that's always been on Keir Starmer's agenda. Look at the manifesto, Akshita. The manifesto clearly has paragraphs on how India has to be engaged and how important the Indian community here in the United Kingdom really is.
Very, very true. So I think there has been a lot of focus on the Indian diaspora, knowing full well the importance. But yes, you're right to also highlight that there was this emotional connect that the Indian diaspora had with Rishi Sunak, almost like he was one of us. He, of course, showed off his cultural and traditional roots so very often, even in the run-up to this election, that you kind of understand that sentiment. But it's the end of Rishi Raj in the United Kingdom. So what next for Sunak and Akshata Murthy? They moved out of 10 Downing Street. Those are the images of them as they exited, all smiles, holding hands. Now they move back to their mansion in Richmond. Because remember, Sunak is still a member of Parliament. He's retained his Richmond seat.
A historic mandate for Keir Starmer, translating to the end of Rishi Raj in UK. Rishi Sunak has conceded defeat, and so far the only silver lining for Sunak has been that he's held on to his seat, Richmond in North England.
I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. To all the Conservative candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I'm sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service.
Sunak and Akshata soon after speech moved out of 10 Downing Street as crowds waved to them, signalling the end of Sunak's reign as PM.
I will never forgive them for that.
Okay.
You know.
So bye-bye Tories for you.
So yeah, it's a great thing.
So what next for Sunak? The outgoing British Prime Minister will remain a parliamentarian and is expected to move back to his Richmond mansion with his wife Akshata Murthy and their 2 daughters. Rishi Sunak calls his beautiful mansion home the Kirby Singston Manor, which he bought in 2015 for a whopping £1.5 million or about 14 crore rupees. This ancient mansion that stood tall since the 1800s has been refurbished with a pool, gym and a tennis court. The property even has a lake and a boathouse. He may be out as a UK Prime Minister, but he's still going to be super busy now with corporate commitments which were on pause while he served the country. A banker, a public speaker, an editor for newspaper. Sunak has donned many hats, and so he has a platter of offers to choose from today. Rishi Sunak, known famously to be richer than King Charles, is looking at a chance of address now, back from the London to Richmond. But seeing what awaits him at home, he perhaps has a whole lot to look forward to despite losing the election. Bureau Report, India Today.